All right, this is part 2 of Unit 4's Lesson 6 on writing equations in slope-intercept form. This is the practice section, so I'm going to start on page 30 and just work through some of these practice problems. I'm hoping you have tried them already, and we can just work through it together. So first problem says to write the equation. All of these are writing equations in slope-intercept form. All right, so we're thinking y equals mx plus b for all of these, meaning I need a slope and I need a y-intercept. Trying to find those two numbers and put them in the equation. And question number 1 is a level 1 question. Level 1, referring to our levels on page 29. Level 1 means I know a slope and I know the y-intercept, and I just need to put those into the equation. So this is telling me slope is -7. That means the m is -7. The y-intercept is 1. That's telling me the b is 1. I can put both of those right into an equation. Y equals the slope becomes the coefficient of the x, so -7x, plus the y-intercept in this case, plus 1. Done. Simple as that. Level 1 question. Just popping a slope and a y-intercept into the equation. Number 2 looks like it's giving me a graph. I can recognize my x and y axes, and it looks like I've got a y-intercept right here, right? So b is at -2. I can identify where the line is crossing the y-axis. That's my b value. And it's telling me to get from one point in the line to another that I go down 2 and over 1. That's telling me my rate of change, or my slope, is -2 over 1, or simply -2. And again, just like we did in part 1, we're just going to take those two values and put them in the equation. Y equals slope is the coefficient of the x term, and then my y-intercept is -2. I could put plus a -2 or just simply -2. Keep it simple. There's my equation. Always double check, right? Double check that -2 slope, because it does look like a nice negative line heading downhill as I read it left to right. Number 3 gives me a couple points. Looks like one is through the origin and the other is -3, 4. So this I should be able to recognize as my y-intercept, right? My b is actually 0, right? Crossing the y-axis at 0. And I can identify a slope. Looks like I need to go down from -3. Oh, sorry, from 4 down to 0. So I'm going down 4. And then from -3 back to 0, this is going to be a move of +3. So rise over run. M equals rise, so actually went down, so -4, and a run to the right of a +3. Negative slope overall. Take those two numbers, put them into your equation. Y equals slope, -4/3, multiplied by x. And I can add on 0. Don't really even need to write it. There's my equation of my line crossing through the origin with a negative slope. All right, continuing on, page 31 gives me 2 points. Now these 2 points, I can start by finding my slope. Right? So m equals, anytime I have 2 points, go ahead and find slope first. Subtract your y values on the top. Subtract your x values on the bottom. We'll get a rate of change, -7 minus a -5. This turns into +5. Should get a -2 over 2, a slope of -1. There's the m. I have 2 points. I could go from here and then turn this into point slope form because I have a point and a slope. But I actually, sneaky as it is, if you can identify it, this point right here, because the x is 0, this is actually a point on the y-axis. So this is my y-intercept. Sometimes hard to recognize when we're in the midst of things, but this means that our b value is -5. And now I have m and b again. I can just write it into the equation. Y equals the slope times x, and my b is -5. I have my equation. All right, number 5 gives you a point, 1, 1, and it gives you a slope of 3. So since they give you a point and a slope, I'm going to use point slope form. Right? They didn't give me the y-intercept. They just gave me another point somewhere on the coordinate plane. So I'm going to use y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. Point slope form. From the point they gave me, my x1 is 1 and my y1 is 1, right? Because they gave me the point 1, 1 with a slope of 3. So if we put those values in there, we're going to have y minus 1 equals 3, and then x minus 1. Distribute, y minus 1 equals 3x minus 3, and then add the 1 over to get y alone. In this case, we should get y equals 3x minus 2. There's my equation in slope-intercept form. All right, and the last part is just a bunch of practice writing from 2 points. Okay, so the process is all the same. Find slope first, and then put it into point slope form. So I'm going to kind of work through these quickly. If you need to, you can pause it and try them on your own. I'm going to have a slope. I'm going to subtract. Let's do 15 minus 7 and 5 minus 3. Should give me 8 over 2, simplifies to 4. Pick one of the points to use in point slope form. So let's see, we'll go with this one, right? I'm going to use x1 of 5 and a y1 of 15. So when I substitute that in, y minus 15 equals my slope was 4, and x minus the x1, which was 5. So I'm hoping you're beginning to notice that in whenever I use this form, this guy always stays y and this guy always stays x. Or I'm not substituting any values in there. Those are the variables in your equation. And I'm going to do my same 2 steps. I'm going to distribute. So y minus 15 equals 4x minus 20. And I'm going to add this 15 over to this side to get y alone. 4x minus 5. Again, try the process. Different things turn up when you try it. You learn different things each time. Number 10, slope 20 minus 8 and -5 minus a -1. Be careful about that. Negative signs. We get 12. Oh, this becomes a plus. It's like -4 to give me a slope of -3. It's always nice when it simplifies down to a whole number. Makes the rest of this a little bit easier. Bring in my point slope form again. Y minus y1. Really helps, I think, to write the formula first and then substitute. So let's see, let's just take this one. It's easy enough, right? X1 is -1, Y1 is 8. Substituting in, Y minus Y1 is 8. My slope was -3. And X minus, the X1's a -1. Subtracting a -1 turns into +1. Distribute. And then add the constant. -3x plus 5. All right. Last two. Find slope. Write my equation in point slope form. Let's see. I'll use this one. Why not do this one? X1 is -2. Y1 is 6. So y minus 6 equals -1/2 x minus a -2 turns into +2. Distribute -1/2 x. -1/2 times 2 will make a -1. And then add your 6 over. There's that one. And last one. Let's see, -17 minus 14 and 4 minus 8. Oh boy, let's see. This one's going to be our messy one, I think. -31 over -4. Negative and negative will make this a positive slope. I'm going to leave that fraction. If you want to, you could turn it into a decimal. It does make a terminating decimal, so if that makes your life easier, go right ahead. Y minus Y1 M X minus X1. All right, let's pick. Yeah, let's go with this guy. Let's go with this one. All right, so we're going to substitute in an X1 of 4 and a Y1 of -17. Y minus a -17 turns into a +17. I got 31 over 4, and then I have X minus 4. So that'll work out okay. It's not too bad. Don't panic about the fraction. Distribute. So y plus 17 equals, this is going to stay my slope no matter what. So there it is next to x. And let's do a little sidebar here. If it'll fit. I don't know if it'll fit on the video. 31 over 4 times 4. Or 4 over 1. These 4s will actually cancel. And this will just come out at -31 here. And then we're going to subtract the 17. So we should get y equals 31 over 4 times x. Oh, let's see. What do we get? -48. A little messy, but it works. Hey, and you know what? You can always check these by putting those 2 points in Desmos and put your equation in and see if it actually hits your 2 points. It's a great way to check and see if it works. All right, that was Unit 4, Lesson 6, Writing equations in slope-intercept form.